Good morning or good night. Good morning, everybody. Today, for Monday night movie club, we are going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I am Aiden.
I'm Vivek.
I'm Mace.
I'm Xander.
Mace, would you like to talk about the summary?
Yes, I would. The summary for Ant-Man Quantumania is, so Scott's daughter makes a signal to the quantum realm, but they all get sucked in because Scott's mom kind of hurts it, and because she doesn't want to go to the quantum realm again, so they all get sucked in, and they're looking around, and they find these people, and Scott and his daughter drink some goose so that they can hear and understand all the people there. And there's this guy named Kang that before in the movie kind of lies to Scott's mom about that he was good, but really he's bad because he got banished to the quantum realm because he kept destroying worlds, which his name was Kang the World Conqueror. And they all beat him. And MODOK is also in the movie, who was created or who got sent down from the quantum realm, which he was formerly Yellow Jacket, and he got sent down, and Kang fixed him up.
What scenes stood out to you the most, and what made them stand out to you? I'll go. I would say the opening scene where it showed that he's now more like starting to have a life outside of just being with the Avengers, and now he's starting to live more of a normal life.
I thought one scene that stood out to me was it was funny when he was walking around the streets. And one part that was pretty funny, it kept showing it in the trailer that the guy at the restaurant called him Spider-Man and gave him free food. and gave him free food. But then at the end of the movie, when the old guy found out that he wasn't Spider-Man, he made him pay.
Well, I'll go now. A scene that stood out was when the ants killed Kang because there were some big ants, and the Wasp's dad, I forget his name, but he said there were a type 2 civilization, I think. And that's pretty cool for ants.
Let me piggyback on top of Aiden, who was talking about the ants. The ants, as you probably won't know if you haven't watched this movie, that when they were traveling through the quantum realm, they turned older and they got very much smarter, and they built some cool tech, and they built their own type 2 civilization.
Do you think that this movie was trying to convey any messages to the audience? If so, what do you think the message was?
I think the message was that a family should always stick together, because once they got in the quantum realm, they were like separated, and like at the moment, like they were in danger. So their main focus was to get their family back together. So if they didn't get their family together, then they would probably just be worrying about that for the whole time, and it would be harder to fight. It would be harder to fight like Kang and everyone else there because they weren't together as a family. So I think just sticking with your family is like probably the message of this movie.
I think another message is if you were once evil, you can become good again, because MODOK, he was evil in the beginning, then at the end, when, like I said, the ants were about to kill Kang, he had a shield up, and then MODOK saved the day by ramming into the shield, and then Kang's shield went down, and then the ants killed him, and then MODOK died.
I think that, I don't know if there is any stories, but like Aiden was saying before with you you can be evil but turn good again. I bet there probably is a story in the Bible somewhere where someone would be evil at some point, but then they'd turn good and turn to God and be good again. But yeah, I think there is actually one guy. It was either Paul who got named to Saul or Saul got named to Paul, one of those. But he was very bad to Christian people and Jewish people, and he hurt them a lot and insulted them. But then God showed him, and I think he blinded him for a bit on white light, and then he showed him like what can happen to you. And so Paul or Saul turned good and turned into the other name, which is pretty nice. Anyone else? Any other elements?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Number 6. Is there anything else that caught your attention that you would like to discuss?
I think there was one thing. It was kind of weird though, that when MODOK, when he took down his shield and the bunch of ants, killed him. It was before a former scene in the movie that Kang could easily destroy worlds with his big yell on his power that would rage out of him. It seemed kind of weird that he got beaten by, even though that they're really powerful, a bunch of high-tech ants. He could have still just probably disintegrated them all by doing his powers that he uses.
So, he couldn't actually destroy worlds. What it was showing when it showed that scene was it was sort of like a mimic to Black Panther's suit when he could release energy, and it just like formed a dome of energy. So all it did was he could just take out a certain range of people, and then it would cut, and then it jumped to showing worlds just exploding, so him destroying them some other way.
Something that caught my attention was the post credits, because there were lots of Kangs there, because they were calling them, but it focused on 3 Kangs, and I'm guessing they're the 3 main Kangs that make the bigger decisions.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this movie?
I'd say for viewers who like Marvel, on their perspective, I'd rate it probably a 6 to 7, because the first Ant-Man was good, pretty good. I thought so myself, and kind of carried on, and it was pretty exciting at some parts of how Kang lied to, or just kind of pretended he was someone else to Scott's mom, and how he was really powerful in some parts.
I would rate it an 8, because it's better than the newer Marvel movies that have been coming out, but it's not as good as some.
I would give it a 6.8 to a 7, because it was, like what Xander said, better than basically all of the Marvel movies that have come out after Endgame. I said almost all of them. Also because I'm a Marvel fan, but it's not as good as Stan Lee's movies.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give the movie like a 7.5 or an 8. I think that's just simply because, like, comparing it to other Marvel movies, that like the newer ones, and it was pretty good, even though it might have not been good as the ones that are like written by Stan Lee, and like Aiden said, but it was still pretty good.
Would you recommend this film? Explain.
Yeah, I recommend it. Due to my rating, is kind of like almost like a failing test for me that 50% or 5 stars or, well, 5 out of 10 stars or under. I wouldn't usually recommend it because it's lower than 50%. But if it's over 50%, I'd say I'd probably recommend it because it's pretty good.
I would recommend it really to anybody who's enjoyed Marvel.
I would recommend it to Marvel fans because they're Marvel fans, and I would also recommend it to younger kids because it seems like the type of movie that younger kids would like to watch. Vivek?
Yeah. I would probably recommend this movie to Marvel fans because like Marvel fans, they've been watching every Marvel movie, so and this one was pretty good, so I don't think they would want to like miss one. And I would also recommend it to even people who are not Marvel fans because I think they would actually also enjoy this movie. Because if you enjoyed like all the earlier Marvel movies and like everything up to Endgame, you're probably also gonna like this one.
Does anyone have anything else they would like to say?
Another question that just came in. Where do you think that this movie is gonna go?
I think they're gonna make a second movie, but it's gonna be like kind of bad because I mean, Marvel movies are kind of hard to keep going off of and keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone else have an answer to that question?
I think it's going to lead to another multiversal war because you had seen Loki before this. Then it explained how before the main timeline was set up, they had this huge multiversal war, and it was actually just a huge war of Kangs, and it almost destroyed the multiverse. So I have a feeling that they're just going to lead into that and give it some more structure and throw in the Avengers.
At the end of the movie, it was post-credit, I'm pretty sure, but it was Loki and what's it called? I forget the name. It's a TV show. I think it's just called Loki, but it was Loki and his like boss or whatever, and then he was at this stage thing, and then he saw Kang, and he's like, oh no, and then yeah, that's all I remember.
Who was with Loki? Like, what was the exact name? Does anyone know?
Mobius.
I thought that part was kind of exciting, but kind of weird at the same time of why Kang would be kind of like an old type of, I don't know what it was, but an actor or magician guy, and he was talking about time and how you can change time and how time is just time. And it was kind of exciting of how there probably is going to be another movie, and they would say that I think it said Kang will be coming back or coming soon.
I think another movie with Loki, and maybe some other Marvel people. I think it would be like pretty exciting, like making multiple people who haven't been in movies before into a movie to help stop someone who can, in a way, multiply because he can travel multiverses. Mace, would you like to say something? Go ahead, Mace. We're listening.
I think that the movie is pretty good on my part.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Like how good?
Like-
Just pretty good. At all?
Like 6 to 7 star good.
6 to 7 stars. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's the end. Goodbye. Take all your mics so you can't say anything. If there is a company who needs someone to sponsor them, we can sponsor you. Miss? Oh, yeah, we sponsor you. You sponsor us, I mean. You sponsor us. You give us stuff.
Here it is.
Miss?
If
Yes,
we
miss?
if you
Miss?
let
Okay, I'll stop.
if you let us sponsor you, you can sponsor us, and then we'll both get
What?
a bunch of money from each other.
Or you
That
just
makes
give
no
us everything.
sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
We're
Or
not sponsoring them.
no, you sponsor
Because,
us. You sponsor us.
you know-
and we take your money and then say, yeah, who you are. Mm-hmm. Miss?
Yeah.
Can I say? All right. If you have a sponsorship, then you can sponsor us. Miss?
Yeah, if you ask, then you can sponsor us, and we'll sponsor you, and it'll be kind of a package deal where we'll both get money.
What?
Vivek?
Vivek?
That's a no profit deal. That's a no profit deal.
Yeah, Miss. Not
Yeah.
allowed. We only need profits. We
That's a
need
no profit deal. So any drink company, any beverage company, we'd like you to sponsor us, and we'll be in your commercials. We'll advertise you at all times, and we'll endorse you. But we want a free supply of your drink. That's what we want, and money. Any drink company.
money.
We talk a lot. We get thirsty because we're eating chips. Give us pop.
Yeah.